It's okay to let go. You're not alone. Stand your ground, take it slow. The way you've been shown, trust yourself, you to get through. Now you're on the other side, living life again. It was a wild ride out of the rain into the sun. Look, you've won.
Hello, lovely humans. How are you on this great day of Thursday, March 27th? I hope everybody is well. It is a sunny day here in Massachusetts. I'm checking the weather at the moment. Let me get out of where it says 47 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm still chilly, but it is going in the correct direction. And I'm getting very itchy to get into the garden and dig my hands into the sand and play around with all my critters and dirt and start to get ready to plant. Hopefully this weekend I will start my seeds for the garden. So I'm really excited about that. I know everybody's been to the grocery store, and I'm not expecting to replace all this food with what I grow in my garden. I'm too small at the moment, and I'm still learning on how to grow a successful vegetable garden, but my flowers, off the chart. I will be taking you guys along for the ride. I will say that at the moment, I'm a little embarrassed at how discombobulated the garden is, and I have stuff everywhere. So I'm really looking forward to cleaning it, organizing it, giving myself a semblance of organization. Got some privacy panels this year that I'm going to be putting up so that I don't have a lot of people peeking in the garden. And I don't mind sharing what's in my garden, but at 1 and 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning when I have the dogs out there going tinkle, I'm not really keen on all the wandering individuals. So Braze, where you live, you don't have the opportunity to have like a raised bed or green stalk where you can pile a whole bunch of pots. That's, when I lived in Boston, on my fire escape, I had a couple of pots of flowers mainly. And then the beautiful baby squirrels made a home and nested in it. So I stopped growing vegetables or flowers because I got tremendous enjoyment from watching the squirrels huddle. And if I can find a picture, I'm absolutely going to post it because that was one of my favorite memories. So let's dive in. I know it's only a few minutes past 5 p.m. on the East Coast. And, one of the things that I struggle. So I want to use my words impeccably. So I don't want to say I struggle, but I'm challenged by how do I introduce Reiki, hypnosis, and meditation as forms of therapy, self-help, without people rolling their eyes or changing the channel. And I guess I just have to have faith that it'll reach the audience that needs to hear what I have to say about those things. We've already talked a little bit about meditation and how I feel about meditation, and that guided meditation is what works for me. I will say, and Braze, and should I call you Brazy or should I call you by your given name? I didn't want to start that if that's not how you want to be known. So you can just tell me, Brazy's fine or whatever. But I don't want to be insulting to you either. Um, oh, what'd you say? No, besides the driveway, no backyard. Yeah, it's tough. Look, for a long time, I had to stuff my desire for a garden. I have to cough, so let me just mute. One of the things that happens at this time of year, as much as I love it, there's a lot of stuff flying in the air and it gets stuck. Brazy is great. Okay, you got it, girl. So I wanted to talk a little bit about Reiki. And I have some notes because I am certified as a Usui Reiki master as well as a Holy Fire Reiki master. And they're intertwined. And I want to talk about them and how they also work in conjunction with hypnosis. So, first, my introduction to Reiki happened while my mom was sick. So, I would say somewhere in 2014, 2015, a very dear friend of mine was giving me a massage. She would come to my home and take care of my mom and take care of me, which was a huge blessing because my mom wasn't really able to travel very well. And it meant so much to her to just, you know, it doesn't matter if you have cancer or any illness or just you feel like crap mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, soulfully. Um, I love a massage. It connects me with my higher self, with this, oh, I can just rest and breathe. And she had been learning about Reiki and introduced me to the topic. I shelved it because I had a great experience when she was doing Reiki and massage, but I had too much on my plate at that point between my full-time job and taking care of mom. When I lost my job, I after mom died, I really wanted to find a new path. I didn't want to go back into the corporate world. And, there's pros and cons to that. And if you would ask people in my life, they probably would have said, you probably should have gotten right back on the horse and found another job. Maybe you wouldn't have crashed so emotionally afterwards and gone into this debilitating grief and depression. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, didn't. So I'm not going to go back and say I should have done anything differently. I did what I had to do. But I got to learn about Reiki. Now, my first instructor I thought was enlightened. He was manipulative. He was a narcissist. I think he's a little batshit crazy because he wanted us to worship him like the king he was in his previous lives. And he was really kind of a grifter. He was looking for us to support him to live a lifestyle because previously he'd been a king. And he said that he was a famous king. It'll come to me. But, look, if I go back into my past lives, I was a servant. Let's just call it what it is. And I don't have a problem with that because those are life lessons and those are respectable professions if you're treated well. And I don't know what happened in my past, but I'm not going to go and say, hey, guess what? 2 lives ago, I was Cleopatra and I would like you to do my laundry. I'd like you to cook for me. By the way, pay all my bills for me and worship me because I'm fabulous. Not really, my jam. And I found it very disingenuous, but I was incredibly vulnerable. In the meantime, this instructor said, look, I encourage you to go see other teachers. And when I went and saw another teacher simultaneously, this teacher was a follower, an instructor, a disciple, a student of William Rand, who is the president of the International Center for Reiki Training. So he's very well known. And prior to that, there's a lineage that goes back all the way to Mikao Usui, who is, as we know now, the founder of Reiki. You were a queen breeze. I think you still are, and damn it, you shouldn't be the servant. I know, isn't it funny? I mean, I know I'm scrolling and getting off topic, but I do find it fascinating that it's a reflection of what we wish we were. And I've been watching a lot of YouTube lately on this energy that we're experiencing this week, with the cosmos and being enlightened and the Palladian messages and, kind of everything's going to go banana cakes in the next day or two with the solar eclipse. And look, the political structure in the US is already banana cakes. I don't need more bananas in my life. I already feel like I can't handle and juggle all this craziness. I will say that what Reiki has done for me, and I really have to practice this on a regular basis, is help me be more discerning and thoughtful in my responses. So, it's funny, I don't remember myself being an angry person, an angry child. But lately, this anger is just flushing up to the top, bubbling, bubbling, bubbling. And it's over stupid things. And I have to say, I was very proud of myself because I had this interaction with my neighbor who was sticking his nose where it didn't belong. And the rage that was bubbling in me. And I thought, this is why we have gun laws, because I understand the concept of wanting to go, I hate this term, but postal, right? Just, nuts. And I said, look, I'm not taking this abuse. I'm not taking this abusive conversation. It's not necessary. You're being basically a jerk, but I said it nicer. And he was raging himself because he was being called out. And I don't like how he treats his wife. I think there's something about that that's triggering for me. And there's a condescending tone. And I'm like, I don't take that crap from the men in my family that I actually like and love. I sure as shit am not taking it from some man that I don't like. Now, what happens when we're angry at someone? We want to use words that we know are going to hurt. Now, this person happens to be ginormous. And I said, wait a minute, girl, you cannot. And I didn't say anything, by the way, about it. But in my head, I was thinking, his size has nothing to do with what's coming out of his mouth. His cruelty, his self-absorption, his sense and need to be right is not about me. And it sure as heck isn't about the situation. So I just put my hand up, I called my dogs to me, and we went inside. And he still raged and raged. I could hear him like a maniac over something that was none of his business. So Reiki has taught me to chillax, take a moment, breathe. Hey, Victor. Hi, Millie. Welcome in. Welcome in. We're just getting started. So, I think that Reiki has taught me and continues to teach me, as does the Four Agreements, as does this energy work, as does all of the teachers that I have found throughout my journey of self-discovery. When in doubt, step back. Don't respond, because that initial response you can't take back. And hey, Josh, thank you for being here. So Reiki. So let's talk about Usui Reiki and Holy Fire Reiki, both of which I'm certified in. And to go back to the story, my original teacher, when I shared with him that I had gone to this new teacher as well, called me dirty. He told me that he couldn't be in the same room with me. He didn't want me in his class that day. I was dirty, energetically. Now, having just lost my mother, being incredibly vulnerable, I took it personally. 4 agreements. We're going to talk about it, but don't take it personally. Because this is about him, not me. But I didn't know that. And I didn't have my normal strength. I didn't have any fight in me, and I took it. Now, it also triggered all the violence that I had experienced, and all the people that said that the experience I had was probably my fault, and that not that I deserved what I got, but that something I did, it was an excuse of someone else's behavior. So it triggered me beyond belief. However, I stayed because I wanted the knowledge of Reiki. Thankfully, I have angels. I don't know who they are. I don't have to name them. They were with me. I had saints. I had so much pulsating love around me. I was like, I'm leaving. I want my certificate, because I had completed the entire series. And even though I wasn't going to use that certificate to validate my education, I wanted it. I paid for it. Then I went to the president of the International Center for Reiki, William Rand, and I took the whole series of Reiki over. And I didn't care that I had to pay for it again. I needed to be in love and light, and that person wasn't in love and light. And that was what discernment was teaching me. That just because there are people in our lives, people we watch on YouTube, if it doesn't feel right, it's not right for you. Doesn't make it wrong. It's just not right for you. There's a couple of people that have been referring other channels that I have gone and I've watched. And I'm like, you could almost watch the walls being built in front. They didn't resonate with me. That doesn't make those channels right, wrong, bad, good, just not for me. So let me talk a little bit about Reiki and then how I incorporate it into my life. So firstly, Holy Fire Reiki is just, it's the modern evolution of traditional Reiki. It's a healing modality developed by Mikao Usui, but the nuances is that they channel a refined, sort of continuously active energy known as Holy Fire. Now, this topic, this version of Reiki was introduced in 2014. It is baby. It is built on the knowledge of Usui Reiki. But what it claims is that it integrates the classic life force energy with an elevated frequency. It is supposedly, and I do believe this, but practitioners do describe this energy as both gentle and profoundly transformative, meaning, it gives them this deeper sense of healing. And one of the aspects of Holy Fire Reiki is its ability to work continuously, even when you're not thinking about it. The energy is said to be instinctively flowing, and healing issues as they arise, and while respecting your free will. Right. So I want to just jump into some notes so I don't lose my thought pattern. Oh, so the other thing about Holy Fire Reiki, which I struggled with, it incorporates language and concepts found in various spiritual traditions, citing influences like Jesus, God, and Holy Spirit. Its focus isn't on religious conversion. Instead, what they're saying is that it emphasizes this universal, nurturing energy meant to bring about wholeness in the body, in the mind, and the spirit. And in this way, Holy Fire Reiki remains accessible whether you identify with a specific faith or simply seek a deeper connection with your inner self and the world around you. So that's a little bit of the difference. And there are other elements of it, but both Holy Fire Reiki and Usui share the same roots, and their approach is the same. Well, not they differ in their approach and the energetic characteristics and maybe the application, but conceptually, it is your ability on tuning in. So I'm going to talk about that, but I just want to jump into the chat and just kind of stay even keel. So Millie shares, when you see the unhealthy, unhealed spiritual teachers. Yeah. So, look, we all have a journey, right? None of us are perfect. None of us are without flaws. And, I don't want to judge what people intend. It's like, when you flip through at 2 o'clock in the morning and you see this preacher on TV and the message is filled with love and light and wow, what a great approach. And for $19.99 at the end of the damn thing, you can get my book and you can. All right, wait a minute. You're ministering to the poorest of the freaking poor and you're asking them to support you. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but it puts a bad taste in my mouth when the way to heaven, God, is through your checkbook. That is disingenuous. And I don't find that in light and love and healing. So it's a false light. Amen, Millie. Let's see. Pay attention to the mask slips, the red flags. Yes. Hey, Crystal. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it. And then CCC as an HSP, intuitive emotional empath. I don't think providing Reiki would be healthy, but I enjoy receiving it. I don't know what all those acronyms mean, so I don't know how to respond to that. So, but I will say that I was a wounded spirit, Brazy, when I was doing my Reiki, and it allowed me to breathe. And that situation that I had earlier today with that neighbor who I wanted to spit venom back at him as a reaction to how he was speaking to me, I used all the tools in my toolbox and I just was like, this isn't about me. His spewing his crap has nothing to do with me. And yes, I don't like this person. I don't like how he treats his wife. I don't like how he treats women. I don't like how he treats men. I don't like how he treats the children in the neighborhood. So, oh, thanks, Brazy, comment in the chat. Hey, Jimena, thanks for being here. So I think that, we do have to tap into that inner voice that says, it's not about me. This is about someone else. And I do wish that I had these skills as a younger person because I absorbed all the venom that was being spewed at me that had nothing to do with me. And I hung on to it because I wasn't discerning or knowledgeable that what someone was saying had nothing to do with me. And I took it and it wounded my spirit. I'd be like, why don't they like me? Why are they saying these things? I don't understand. So, so the foundational energy and frequency. So Usui Reiki focuses on channeling this universal life force energy that you consciously direct during a Reiki session. It's rooted in the system of hand placements, and I don't know how much everyone knows about Reiki, but a lot of the work is done through your hands. You either put your hands on someone or you hover above. What you will feel from a practitioner is most often heat. You will feel this vibrating energy in between my hands, and as I place them on certain areas of your body, over your body, um, and with permission. And yes, you are fully clothed. This is not a massage. Um, the hand placements and attunements are intended to balance the body's energy. Holy Fire Reiki is described as the practitioner believing that the channels that they channel like this higher frequency of energy, one that's continuously active, almost self igniting, and that the energy isn't just accessed during the session. It's said to constantly work to clear those blockages and supporting healing, even outside of the dedicated treatments. There is an attunement process with Usui Reiki, and there's an activation process with Holy Fire Reiki. I don't want to get into the weeds with this stuff. I just want to sort of talk a little bit about the differences so that you have a little bit of an awareness of how I meld both of these techniques, because I have risky. I have worked with Laura B, who from Josh's channel, and I should have her channel listed, and I don't. I'm going to get better at this, I promise. But it was interactive with Laura. So when you're with me, whether in person or not, I will have a conversation with you. I'm going to ask you some questions about where you feel like you're experiencing either discomfort or malaise or body tensions or spiritual tensions, if there's something in your life I should know. So if you come in and say, oh no, everything's sunshine and rainbows, and I'm working on your body and I feel like there's like heavy blocks in your body, there's no sunshine and rainbows, and you're not telling me the truth. And there's a reason for that. And again, I'm not even going to mention it to you, because the process is about getting you to relax and letting the energy within your body flow to the areas it needs to flow. And by my hands working over certain areas of your body, it's to help facilitate unblocking the traffic in your body, for lack of a better explanation. Does that make sense? I want to take a minute and just give you an opportunity to say yes or no. That would really be helpful to me. And while I'm waiting for your answers, I was fortunate enough to go to Sedona for a repeat of Reiki 1 and 2. And then my master's was in Massachusetts with William Lee Rand. And he's got a place in Hawaii. And oh, if I could, I'd go to Hawaii. Now, I say that, but I can't be away from Chuckles 1 and 2 here. My two puppies, Luca and Biscotti, I would be lost without them. So it's difficult. But let me take a sip because I'm getting all choked up here. So let's talk about hypnosis. This is all going to tie together, I promise. So hypnosis is an intentional meditation, if you will. right? So you go to hypnosis for a reason to change behaviors, to quit smoking, uh, eating habits, not being able to sleep, anxiety. There's a whole host: agoraphobia, nail biting, anorexia. I'm trying to think of some of the things I worked with. A person had a hard time swallowing when they were eating, so they couldn't eat. Yeah, there's a whole host of things, and then trauma, so sexual violence. Now, I'm going to say this, even though I mentioned it in my description, I am not a clinician of any kind whatsoever. So, another Victor. Hello, hello, Victor. Truth wave. Um, Hypnosis. Someone came to me and asked me to take away their violent experience. And I said, no, that's not what hypnosis does. Hypnosis allows the hypnotist to work with you to give you tools to help you navigate through an experience. So, walking down the street for people that have experienced random violence, and there is a difference between random violence, familial or friend violence. Hey, Cromel, thank you for being here. So, one of the things, let's say you're walking down the street, and I can use me because something happened to me. Thankfully, I was in a different headspace and I protected myself, but it freaked me out from that point on. I was on my way walking to work to get to the subway in Boston, and a guy pulled close to the sidewalk and asked for some direction on the streets. And I didn't know what he was talking about. And I said, I really don't know, but the bakery right around the corner is open. Go in and ask them. And he threatened me with a gun. Now, I come from a family of New York City cops. And at that point, I had been working through therapy to I was working with a lot of rage. And I said, are you effing kidding me? Get the F away from me. And then I just started to walk. And when I got around the corner and he was up the street, I ran and tears are falling down my face and I'm petrified. From that point on, I was always afraid of walking the streets in the morning. I changed my entire routine on how I got to work. Hypnosis will help you deal with the panic attack and the anxiety that may prevent you from living a normal life, whatever normal means, right? So doing public speaking, if that was your job and you got up there and you couldn't talk, or you whispered the whole time and you were hoping that someone could hear you, that's not going to work. So hypnosis can help you with techniques to change the patterns in your brain. Integrating hypnosis into Reiki, it's just a creative way to enhance the modality. It's this deepening of the client's state of relaxation and receptivity. Is that a word? Receptivity? To healing energy. So, if you are receiving a treatment from me in person or in distance Reiki, I'm going to have you lie down flat, and I'm going to have you do some breathing exercises first, because I want you to tap into your own energy within your body to know where are you feeling stuff. And then I'm going to bring you into relaxation like I would through hypnosis. I'm going to I'm going to encourage you to imagine that your feet are in the earth, that you're feeling rooted and you're bringing in all this beautiful life energy into your body. And I use certain techniques to allow your body to relax and then I go quiet after we do this relaxation. In hypnosis, I will continue that conversation using healing energies. And especially after our discussions, and there's a trust there, and there's a consent, and there's an understanding that you're a participant. You can't do anything you don't want to do. I can't make you stand up and whistle Dixie through hypnosis if that is against your integral piece of being. So I think that you have to trust the person that you're working with. Discernment. If I creep somebody out as a Reiki practitioner or as a hypnotherapist or even as a meditation coach, then I'm not for you. And listen to that, because there's something that isn't jiving, and that's okay. With hypnotherapy, there's an induction. And so what does that really mean? The practitioner is going to guide you into this really deep state of relaxation using steady and interactive rhythm. So I might just be talking like I am now, and then I might bring you up and bring you down and let you listen, and then you come back up. And it's to just get you to follow and hear my voice and how you respond, to help quiet the mental chatter in your head. And then if you are to see me because you want to quit sugar, I will guide you through some exercises and techniques that when you're in the grocery store, you will have absolutely no desire to go to the sugar aisle. You will not want to go to the cookie aisle. You will not want to go to the candy aisle. You don't want to go to the soda aisle. By the time I'm done, you won't want to go to those aisles, and you're not going to know why. You're going to know that, all right, I need to pick up some vegetables, fresh vegetables or frozen steamed vegetables. I'm going to pick up my protein. I'm going to get, oatmeal and eggs and whatever it is that we've discussed. And that you're going to find that you're going to want to park your car further away from the entrance. It's just going to be natural. You're not going to think about doing it. You're just going to do it. And that is one way of encouraging a person to change behaviors patterns. We do this with sleep and nightmares. We do this with smoking cessation. We do this with some alcohol. So drugs are a different thing with hypnosis. I personally won't, because treat someone, for lack of a better word, that has severe addictions. I don't have experience in those areas. And though I've never smoked a cigarette, I know about cigarettes. But the intricacies and the chemical reactions with what happens with specific drugs, I will refer someone to an expert in addictions. That's just my area of comfort. I also can treat trauma, but if you've been in the military and you were at war, I can give you some techniques, but I also will refer you to a colleague who specializes with military people. You have to know your strengths. And there are hypnotists, and I've met them and I adore them, that do everything. And that's with decades upon decades of practice and training. And it's not that I don't have the training, but I like to do what I know I'm going to be successful at, and where I have experience. So I work with people in that. And I haven't had to, only once to have to refer somebody elsewhere. And it was a very serious case. And at the time, my boss did it. And she's amazing. So, she also had 25 years on me of experience. So I was able to glean some areas of expertise and some techniques. Again, if I got a client tomorrow with a similar thing, I still would refer them back to her. Okay. So it's conducting like this Reiki energy scan with hypnosis. Once you're really relaxed, and I would transition into this healing session. So you can perform a gentle body scan from a distance, paying attention to the aura fields, paying attention to people's body languages. Um, if the client is comfortable, which more often than not, I am hovering over someone anyway, and I can use my hands to just go through the energy field. Um, it works. It works beautifully. So I can tag team those things. So there are many methods. That was the whole point of today. Was there are multiple ways of using modalities um, to address various blocks, um, and dis-ease. So something that makes you uncomfortable, something that you're not able to tap into. Today I heard somebody, was it today or yesterday? I was just listening to someone else's channel, and that person was really down and was comparing how other people seem to be luckier than that person when it came to life events. Now, my first reaction is I want to chime in and say, I don't consider myself lucky, but I've been trained. I've studied. I've read. I have I have marked up my book, The Four Agreements, which we're going to talk about in a couple of minutes. And I okay, I'm sorry. I got distracted for a second because I saw the word tiramisu. Hold, please, while I go to the comments. Oh, thanks, Millie. Yeah, I mean, I definitely that was a scary situation for me. And that person, come to find out, had done it to several other women, and they actually got in the car with him. And like I said, there was angels with me, as well as the voice of my cousin, who was one of the first New York City detectives to climb the ranks the way she did. And she always gave me a couple of good words to use, and it just kicked in, and I guess I was just in the right time in the right space. Brazy, I do now, LOL. Tiramisu, butter, tarts, chocolate. Oh, I know, and I'm on a health cleanse right now, so those are all things I would enjoy. And I make my own butter. Damn it. Um, have you treated someone with high anxiety and it settled them? Yes, I have. So anxiety is one of those things, depression, um, self-doubt, um, and grief. All of these things, there are techniques to help you work with when you're in a situation. Um, you go into shutdown mode, excuse me, or panic mode, and it's if you don't practice it on a regular basis, your reaction is to do what you always do, shut down. Using certain techniques through hypnosis, I will work with you to acknowledge that you're having this, have you do some breathing exercises, and then prior to that, we will have gone over a specific kind of verbiage or mantra that you'll repeat in your head every single night and every single morning, that will give you almost an automatic response when you start to go into anxiety in a certain situation. And it just brings you this calmness that you can respond. You still may not want to, depending on what the anxiety is over, right? You know what it's about. Is it social anxiety and you don't want to go to this party? I'm not telling you through hypnosis, go into that party. Because guess what? Your intuition might be telling you, I'm not supposed to be in that room. But at least I'm not panicking. I'm not shutting down. I'm deciding consciously not to do something. And I'm going to be a little bit uncomfortable for the first time, meeting some new people in a situation that is going to make me a little anxious and I don't fit in and I don't know what to say. That I'm going to give you techniques on how to do that. So it really depends on what it is, but I've absolutely worked with people with anxiety. And I have to use it for myself because since 2020, I've had social anxiety. Um, and in my old job, part of my job was more social. So though I was a trainer in technology, I had to be an instructor of sorts. I had to teach people how to use the system. Sometimes it was one-on-one and sometimes it was in a group. And usually it was with medical professionals who are incredibly difficult to tell anything to. And they give you 2 minutes to explain a 90-minute concept. So yeah, I wish I had had some of those tools when I was in those situations. But after 2020, after my heart attack, after having lost my job, being very vulnerable, feeling the grief that I was experiencing, um, I I struggled, and that's how I came to be introduced to hypnosis. And hypnosis really was a saving grace for me, both to receive it and to give it. Um, so one of the things that I want to ask you all is in this chat, how many people are familiar with or have read The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz? I did put the link to another YouTube channel that talks about it in the description. And one of the things that I really love about The Four Agreements is, it starts with being impeccable about your words. And we've talked about that. This month I talk about the law of correspondence, as above, so below, as within, so without. Whatever we do is interconnected. Whatever we say impacts and influences people. What we are, so don't flip out on me, but God is within us. The divine is within us. So we are a reflection of divinity to each other. And oh, great, Josh. Yeah, it's a wonderful book. Victor, I would ask if you have time, Victor Sedona, to go into the description of this video and click the link. It's going to talk to you about it before you buy the book. It's a small book. It's how many pages? 140 front to back. And there is a fifth agreement now. But it's easy to read, easy to comprehend. It makes sense. When you start to read this, you're going to go, well, of course that makes sense. But it's not behaviors that we naturally do. Now, maybe you do. So I don't want to assume that you don't use your words impeccably. The second agreement is don't take anything personally. And that one has been life-changing for me. And I have it marked, so I will still go back and read it. The third one is don't make assumptions. Now, that's where gossiping comes into play for me in my life. I would make assumptions when I was younger, and we would talk about other people. In a less hostile world, we sort of said things about our political representatives, local, state, federal. And when we disagreed, it was, you didn't have the facts, right? So we made assumptions about people. We made assumptions when someone walked into a room and was either wearing something or was tattooed from head to foot. I mean, you make assumptions because, well, geez, only criminals were tattooed. Well, that's not true. Military men were tattooed. Certain indigenous people are tattooed. So, but there were assumptions being made because of ignorance. Let's just call it what it is. I didn't know anybody before with a tattoo. It was not something that I was familiar with. And the people I had encountered were seedy. You're making an assumption about a person. So it's just really it's a great, um it's a great conversation. I love this. I would love to talk about this with people. And that's one of the things that I want to ask you guys. And then the fourth agreement is always do your best. And look, it talks about this and it explains, we can't always be, Pollyanna. We can't always be roses and sunshine. That's not reality in this world, in this universe today. Um, and I would say that the discussions lead to conversations on how you handle certain situations. When you have people that you have to interact with, whether it's a boss, whether it's a difficult family member, whether it's that neighbor that was so abusive to me today, or yesterday rather, how do we I use these in a way that is for my best and highest good? I can't change someone else. It's not something that I can do. But maybe by my response, they may make a change. I will tell you that when you stand up to a bully, they're no longer the bully that they were. And by my taking the wind out of his sails, by not engaging in that behavior, it silenced him. Um, and but it's also taught me I'm not going back to old patterns. I am not going to be spoken to in a disrespectful way. If I was disrespectful to you, I get you responding back to me in a way. But I am not going to be verbally assaulted or abused or mistreated. I wouldn't take it by a family member that I love. I sure as shit am not taking it from somebody that I don't even like. Um, and and that's just my bottom line. That doesn't make me good, bad, or indifferent. That makes me standing up for myself. And so I can live in that truth. So, all right, let me just jump into the comments with my glasses so I can see. Millie says she's heard but have heard it discussed once before. Okay, maybe I missed part of the conversation above. Let me come up. Um, Well, oh, you never read it. I would love to. If you guys are interested, seriously, in the comments afterwards, I would like a head count because I would love to do a um a chat with people, hook you up to the video. I don't want to tell anyone to go buy a book if you're not in the financial position to buy a book or go to the library um, and get it. I wish I was in a position to buy everybody a book and share it because I truly think that it is something that um, can open up another way, another line of communication. But if you're interested, I'd really like to talk about it. It's one of those things that I think can make us better communicators and we can lead by example. But if it doesn't resonate with you, then I wouldn't want you to go that route. The other thing that I'm going to be talking about, I don't think it's next week, it's the week after. Next week, I had some other ideas for topics that I just don't want to lose. But I'm going to talk about tapping. So the energy of tapping helps with anxiety. It helps with so many things, and it is an interactive thing that you can feel like you're doing. One of the things that often I got from clients was, well, this was great. They enjoyed their hypnosis session. They enjoyed their Reiki session, but they didn't do anything. And they're not meant to. But if you're somebody that needs to, touch and be active in change, tapping is a really great way to do that. So I'm going to talk about tapping. I'm going to talk about a couple of the techniques of tapping. There are some really great people on YouTube that do it. I'm not pretending to be an expert, but it's a topic I want to bring to you. Um, and then I have some people that I have been connected to that I find very inspirational, that have some life lessons to share and teach, that had gone through some stuff that would knock the crap out of me, yet their inner sense and knowing and goodness and positivity is something that I think we could all benefit from, and it's very inspirational. So she's going to be on my channel in the next, hopefully, month. We're in March, so it may be May by the time she gets on here. And then I have another person that I've introduced in the past, talking about women's issues. So it's great for gentlemen to hear it, because if you have a lady in your life, it might be beneficial, but not necessary. And I would give you a heads up on that. And then there's some of you within the community that I'd like to have on my channel, because I think you all have some interesting stories to share. And it's an opportunity. I mean, I know I only have 115 subscribers, and most of them are shared subscribers with a lot of you. But I think seeing different sides of creators, YouTube creators, is an opportunity for us to share what we know and a different approach. The way that I do meditation isn't the same way that Jimena does it, or Victor from Truth Wave, or being on Floyd's channel. I always do this. Josh's channel on Mr. Floyd's Universe. Millie has these beautiful nature sounds experiences that I consider meditative. So maybe that's not the intention, but I'd love to have Millie come on and talk about it. And so I think that there's several of you that I would really want to have on, so that, you know, I have some people that are not on your channels. They don't speak, but they're here and they watch on the replay. And I've shared about you guys, but I think if they meet you, they may want to, cross over. And not all of us are for everybody. So that's, that's not here nor there. Let's see. Checking the comments. Millie says, I have Spotify Premium. It's probably available on free there. Absolutely. Hey, Echo. So nice for you to be here. And Echo's another one of those people who, I don't know. I always get to her replays. I don't always get to her lives, but she's another one with a great story. And I consider her inspirational, and I consider her a champion in her journey to health and wellness. And, the other thing that I think I want to encourage people, and this is also, I'm talking to me, Teresa, as a mirrored reflection. I hit, 61. I'm turning 62 soon. Life isn't over yet. I still have time to live a life. One of my experiences, I always had a plan A, always had a plan B, then I had a plan C. And after my last job, I have struggled to find direction on what I wanted to do. And YouTube is one of those things that it's great, but it's not putting any cash in my pocket. And I'm not asking it. It's my future is very uncertain in the United States when they are messing around with my health benefits, my Medicare, my disability. I'm allowed to make a certain amount of money outside of my disability. I need that to live, because the economy is such that I, at the end of the month, don't always have enough. Now, I'm not starving. The lights aren't off. But I'm 61. I still want to go and have a life. I still want to go to dinner, and I don't get to do that. I still want to go and buy books. I don't do that. I still want to go and take an art class. I can't do that. That's for today. And so finding opportunities, yes, I can do hypnosis. I can do it remotely. There's no reason for us to have to be in the same room for hypnosis. And that is, I'm working on a little game plan for that. That's separate from YouTube. The same thing with doing distance Reiki. Reiki for me is one of those things that I struggle charging people for, because even though I know, and Dr. Mikao Usui said the same thing, charging people for your service actually engages them in changing behaviors. So I know that charging is the right thing, but I'm not doing it to get rich. So anyway, I need to find a way of blossoming things. And I've been stumped, and I'm a little afraid. And it's working through the fear, right? It's working through, a confidence issue. It's standing up. I have plenty to offer. I have to work on that now, because I don't know what this economic future is going to be like here. And that's caused some fear and anxiety for me. And I see, so all of this being said, I like this engagement of working with this community and helping us all grow, and helping us all find remuneration for the gift that we have. So there was another point, but it sort of popped out of my head. So we're getting close to 6 o'clock, or we are at 6 o'clock. So let me just check the comments before yes. So Brazy, thank you for posting that. So those of you that are interested in having I'm going to use Josh and Victor's term roundtable discussion on the 4 agreements. Please put it in the comments, because I'd love to know if you'd like to participate. Yes, Echo, life does begin at 60. I like what Brazy says. I said that at 40, then at 50. Well, Brazy, we're going to help you start life now. And Echo said, I believe I started living for myself once I realized I loved myself enough to live every moment to the fullest. Amen. Hallelujah. Praise be, girl. And oh, great, Mill. I would love for us to connect. So, I am so appreciative of this medium of community, of communication. I'm going to keep talking about these topics, and hopefully there'll be an audience that will follow and find me and find us. And I do believe in providence, divine providence. I believe that people find those that they're meant to find. And, not everybody is for everybody. I mean, I've said this before. I got a clicker. If it's not my channel, I change it. And that's happened to me lately. I've gone to other people's channels that some of you have recommended, and I'm like, hell no, that's not for me. And then there've been some I'm like, oh my God, that is so interesting. So guys, as always, in closing today, I thank you for being here, taking the time, this hour out of your day. For those of you that are out and about and still working and doing your stuff, please be safe and please have a great rest of your day. For those of you that are settling home, kick up your feet, take care of yourself. And I send you with many blessings of love, of light, of compassion, of healing, of community, sprinkled with a little laughter, a little love, and several giggles. Until next time on Tuesday, I bless you. If I can get this to go, that would be great. And it's not communicating with me. So let's go here.
day begun, I lived one life. As the day ended, I had begun anew, reborn with a new life, a new mission, reborn with a new vision. What may come, I don't know yet, but I am here alive, living my life to the fullest, with new love in my heart and soul, a gift to have, a gift to give, a new life of love.